Oh, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bristol Township Council meeting for September 18th, 2025, and the starting time is 7:05. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance, moment of silence. On a solemn side, 3 officers were fatally shot up in York yesterday. 2 were wounded. We have 2 of our firefighters who were injured yesterday in an apartment fire. And of course, please remember our military personnel overseas and here. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Great to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight, all residents at home. We need a roll call.
President Bowen.
Here.
Vice President Murphy.
Present.
Mr. Antonello.
Here.
Mr. Blaylock.
Here.
Ms. Dunlap.
Present.
Mr. Glasson.
Here.
Mrs. Wagner.
Present.
Before the meeting started, we met in executive session. Mr. Flagger.
We discussed personnel litigation, real estate, and public safety matters in executive session.
Thank you. Monthly reports are available for review in the Township Manager's office. Public comments will be taken on land development and official action items. General comments will be taken during opportunity for residents to address council. Next, we have a presentation public hearing and presentation of Community Development Block Grant Program 2024 CAPER.
Thank you, President Bowen. This is going to be a short one. Usually we have a presentation, and the CAPER is basically the annual report for the community development block grants that we have. They run from July 1st to June 30th of every year. With some of our staff changes, we didn't have as much going on in the department that we were able to get handled. We have now since hired a consultant, so we are going to be getting through the backlog with the consultant. But what we had done last year was 11 emergency home repairs. We had assisted out of those. I believe 8 were low to low income, and then 2 were moderate income, and there was one more, but it's not showing up here. So that is primarily what we had used the funding for, was just the emergency repairs. We did get a timeliness report. We did a workout plan with HUD, and we have a spending plan that is going to get us back into compliance. Okay. That is all.
Thank you for that presentation. Moving forward on the consent agenda, we have a consider approval of voucher lists and requisitions dated September 18, 2025 at an amount of $2,267,749.29. Consider approval of August 21, 2025 council meeting minutes. And last is consider resolution approving the Bristol Township 2024 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, known as CAPER, and authorizes its submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. So we need a motion on that agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cindy Murphy.
I'll second it.
Who do we have there? Who's first?
That was Ray.
Ray?
Yeah, you heard Ray.
Ray, good to see you. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
So second by Ray Blaylock on that motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone approve? Thank you. Next, we have a report from the Township Manager.
I have not had a chance to really dive into the Randall Avenue updates, so I'm going to pass it off to Kurt and ask him to provide the updates.
Yeah, the progress of the bridge is excellent. Everything's moving along really, really well. They're making good progress. They have the abutments pretty well. You know, all the loose concrete was removed, and they have it cast with new concrete. So you know, a lot of the hidden stuff is now completely uncovered, and we're putting it back together, so to speak. One update on schedule is, and this is kind of evolving, but with PICO doing some coordinated work with a gas line replacement, that was sort of like completely independent of the bridge work that the township undertook. We're hearing that there's a delay that's caused because of that work having to be done this year. So we don't know how much it could delay it, but we had targeted hoping to be open by the end of the year. It'll probably drag slightly into 2026. You know, this is all subject to, we have to go through the hoops of getting PennDOT to agree to allow us to reopen it. That's like a prerequisite of reopening the bridge, is that the PennDOT inspectors and bridge engineers have to bless that, which we're confident they will. You know, they were out there during the first phase of the work, and everything looked good to them, but it's still a process to go through. So we've started that process in anticipation of wanting to reopen it shortly.
Is that
after
the gas
work is
line
done.
you're talking about?
It is.
Just hypothetically, if the bridge was good, you know, it wasn't getting replaced, would that shut, if PECO had to do a gas line, would that shut that bridge down at that point?
It probably would have, yeah.
Okay.
It probably would have, just because it's narrow up there in the approaches to the bridge and guide rails on both sides. So any work they would have done likely would have just been best to close it down. But we sort of delayed them for quite a while. PECO's been trying to get their bare steel gas mains replaced on both sides of the bridge. And they wanted to do this work, and we were kind of holding them off because of what was going on with the bridge. So now they're kind of at, you know, the inflection point where they have to get it done, and it's concurrent with the work we're doing. So, but you know, again, I think the positive is that things are going great. Contractors working excellent to work with. It's just that update on the schedule, which we don't have everything fine-tuned, but I think they need about a month in time for PECO to do this work, yeah.
Thank you. Anything else? Township Manager.
Yes, we've had a lot of staff changes, so I just wanted to go through that. As we know that Chief Winnick has been promoted to Chief of Police. We have our new lieutenants and the command staff over in the police department. On this side, we've had some changes in our finance department and in the township manager's office, and that trickles down to other departments. We hired a new assistant to the township manager, April Watson. She started on Monday. We have a new finance director coming in on this Monday, Shumei Chen. We have a new promoted AP clerk, Adrian Colin. That opens up the position for a building and planning clerk, which has been advertised on the outside. We have posted for a union position, a new position for a sewer clerk. Jair Brown in our Parks and Rec department, the assistant Parks and Rec director, has submitted his resignation. So we'll be looking at what we're going to be doing in Parks and Rec. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Township Solicitor.
I have nothing, so enjoy September while we still have some nice weather.
Yeah, how about it?
And come to Fall Fest.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit about that. Thank you. Next, we're under new business application of Denali Enterprise LLC requesting preliminary final land development approval to construct a 10,002 square foot warehouse and parking area on a property located at 11 North Wilson Avenue, Bristol, tax parcel number 5-077-001-001 within the M2 heavy manufacturing. Good evening.
Good evening, Council. Bryce McGuigan here from Begley Carlin on behalf of Denali Enterprises LLC. Thank you so much for having us here this evening. I would like to first introduce who I have with me tonight. We have Joe Tepper sitting in the back, who is the owner of Denali Enterprises, together with John Richardson of Dumac Engineering, who is our project engineer and responsible for the plans that have been submitted to the township repeatedly over the past 3 years of this project. We're here this evening to request approval for the preliminary and final land development plan for the property located at 11 North Wilson Avenue. Essentially, what we're proposing is a 10,000 square foot warehouse and industrial structure that will be the home of MER Industrial Contractors, which is Joe's personal business. The business has existed for 11 years. It's been based here in Bristol Township the entire time. It employs upwards of 15 individuals, and Joe has been a lifelong Bristol Township resident, and the approval of this project would allow this business to remain here in Bristol Township, which is the only place it's ever known. By way of background, the property at issue, which is trimmed in blue up on the screen, it's approximately 1.6 acres, and I can confidently say it is one of the oddest properties I've ever had the pleasure of doing business with. As you'll see here, the main chunk of the property is 1.3 acres. They have a smaller little bit that's about 0.3 that's connected literally by a point. So the plan that we have here, I would say, get into the plan, but it gets a little odder because you'll see this area here to the far right. That is an existing stormwater basin that apparently was constructed way back without permits or any approvals or any records whatsoever. And also, we have a 50-foot wide paper street that runs through the rear of the property between us and the neighborhood to the back. The proposed use is permitted by right. However, because of the obvious issues with the site, we needed a little bit of zoning relief, which we ultimately had to go to Doylestown to secure, but that issue has been resolved. What we also had was we ran into issues with terms of water and sewer connections, which John and his team were also able to work with the township to resolve those as well, which is why we're here before you tonight. So we were before the Planning Commission earlier this month, where we received our recommended approvals. I've had the opportunity to review the draft resolution from Mr. Flager's office, and I'm happy to say that all the terms within the resolution are acceptable to the applicant. What I would also say is, with respect to the professional review letters, everything apart from our 10 waivers are will complies. I just want to point out 2 issues that were raised in those letters that are somewhat quirky with the site. First relates to the stormwater basin. We did review and try to find additional records for it. None exist. But what we did do to ensure that this remains operable and serviceable for the local area is we're going to maintain that, just like we're going to be maintaining our stormwater management system that we're installing in connection with our improvements. In addition, to confirm the full extent of what's required, someone from John's office was able to meet with one of the Gilmore folks down at the site, review the basin, go through it, and so we have been working with the township to ensure that all the appropriate steps are maintained or are taken to make sure that is maintained. The second issue is we're connecting to the sewer system through an easement through our neighbor to the rear, and actually cuts through the paper street. So Gilmore requested that we speak with someone from Mr. Flager's office, and I was able to talk with Scott Holbert about that at length to confirm that there are no legal issues in terms of going through that paper street, which has existed for in excess of 21 years without any public purpose. So we don't see an issue there, and thankfully neither does the township. So with that, I'm obviously more than happy to go through the individual waivers, go through any particular questions or issues that council has, or that that your professionals have. But with that, I will rest on what we just said, and to the extent that there's any issues, either John or I will be happy to address those.
So to be clear, is stormwater management on there?
Correct.
That nobody, it was just probably one of them back in the day, we'll do our stormwater. Did it work back in the day?
Well,
Any idea? I guess
It's
it did.
operable now, right?
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
It's-
So is that, you're going to keep with that one?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, we're not touching that.
Okay.
And actually,
You're not, are you adding any more to it? I guess would be the question.
actually
No,
here, hang
okay.
on. I'm trying to.
Just checking.
Yeah, my scroll. I'll do a PowerPoint next time.
Oh, there, oh, thank you.
All right, there we go. So if you
Okay.
look here, got the building that's
Right.
in the corner, got our parking facility in the front with our
Okay.
own stormwater system.
Got it.
And we are not doing a single thing to that basin over on the side. And
Oh, it's a pretty big basin.
it's a very big basin. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why you got a 1.6 acre site, but we're only proposing a 10,000 square foot building, which is
Okay.
far beneath what you're otherwise allowed
Okay.
because we have these limitations.
Amazing.
And the
Yeah, but-
basin, just so you know, it'll be pursuant to the standard standard maintenance agreement that we're going to enter into with the township. That'll be recorded with the property. It covers our system as well as what's already there.
That, I was going to ask that question, and we're really appreciative that you do that, that the owner does that. It gives us a comfort level, and it is protecting the surrounding homeowners that are going to be, could be affected by a stormwater runoff there. So we thank you for that.
Last, sewer and water. Where's the sewer go? Bristol Borough, or, I'm just curious. That's a curious question.
Yeah.
Bucks Joint?
It goes through the township to the township.
Bristol Township.
I think it ends up at the Palmer pumping station and going a lot of
Okay,
All right.
got it. Just
Palmer.
curious, you know.
Did you say Palmer, Joe?
I believe it flows out
Okay.
and it goes down Palmer Avenue.
Okay.
I would trust Joe's answer on that one.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. So on that, we need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello, second by Mary Ann Wagner on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you for investing in Bristol Township.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next we got a lot of resolutions to submit for grant money from the Redevelopment Authority, and they're going to be from B to M. I'm going to read the first piece of language, and then I'm just going to move forward. So what it is resolution authorizing the township manager to submit a grant application to the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Bucks. And everyone's going to have that language, and I'm just going to read off what they're for. So the first one's for year 4, cost in a 5-year contract for Bristol Township Police Department replacement body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, license plates reader, and an inclusion of requiring licensing, warranty, and storage in the amount of $133,000.92. Thank you. $133,092. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I was going to try and get through this meeting without one mess up. All right. It's the first one. All right, next one, for automated license plate recognition, ALPR camera in an amount of $42,845. The next one to purchase 2 pursuit-rated Dodge Durangos vehicles for Bristol Township Police Department, amount of $159,507. Next one to purchase an emergency responder personnel protection equipment for Bristol Township Fire Rescue in the amount of $39,889.62. The next one for battery power rescue tools for Edgeley Fire Company in the amount of $40,000. Next one for personal protected equipment for Levittown Fire Company number 2 in the amount of $40,000. Next one for 6 thermal imaging cameras for Croydon Fire Company in the amount of $40,000. We have for utility terrain vehicle, UTV, for 3rd District Fire Company, amount of $40,000. For rescue tools for Newportville Fire Company, amount of $40,000. For a power stretcher for Levittown Farrows Hills Rescue Squad, amount of $40,000. For a power stretcher and stair chairs for Bucks County Rescue Squad, an amount of $40,000. And the last, I'm going to read this one, so the language is a little different. Resolution authorizing the Towns Against Graffiti tag to submit a grant application to the Redevelopment Authority in the County of Bucks for participation in an intergovernmental aid agreement for graffiti removal and litter program in an amount of $175,000. So on that, I need a motion.
I'll make it.
Motion by Mary Ann Wagner, second by Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed to that? Thank you. Moving right along, we have a 2026 financial requirement, the minimum municipal obligation for Bristol Township Police Pension Plan. We need a motion on that. You want to explain?
I was just going to advise of the amount.
That would be great.
Yes. So this is for our police pension plan. Typically, we've had our MMOs at about $1.2 million. That's the minimal municipal obligation for the township to pay. We do get state aid. That is not just all township funding. It has increased significantly since we've had a lot of retirees over the last couple of years. What I'm recommending is they always ask us to try to do the market value, and we usually just do the MMO, the minimal. Right now, it's only a $300,000 difference, so my recommendation is going to be for the market value assessment at $2,616,735.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cindy Murphy,
Second.
second by Pat Antonello. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next, we have 2026 financial requirement and minimal municipal obligation for Bristol Township Pension Plan.
Thank you again, President Bowen. This is for all non-uniform personnel that is in this pension plan, and that would be a minimal municipal obligation of $178,048.
Need a motion? I'll make that motion. Motion by Joe Glasson, second by Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Consider emergency flashing barriers, Green Lane Railroad underpass with cost split with Bristol Borough. Who wants to explain that one?
This, I can. Kurt or I can, but this is for Jim Dillon, the borough manager, has put in a request. Currently, Bristol Borough has been taking ownership of this area. We own one portion of Green Lane, the southbound, and the borough owns the northbound travel lane. And this floods underneath the railroad underpass, as we've heard by several residents, especially in the edge of the area. The borough has been utilizing their public works and their police department to set up barricades every time it rains. They've been relentlessly trying with Amtrak and with PennDOT to get some stormwater management, the pipe, whatever is causing the issues to be corrected with no avail. This is a temporary fix. We're still going to go after Amtrak and PennDOT for assistance, but this would be a split between the borough for, they're man-powered, so they would still have to be lowered at the time of requirement, but at least it's just a lowering of the arms to block off the area rather than go out and put barricades that could then that have been washing away during the major storms. So the total cost is $31,044, and the borough is requesting, which I gave the green light for already, and then this is for council to acknowledge that, for $15,522.
I make that motion.
One update real quick, and sorry, Randy, I should have updated you prior to just now. But those quotes we had gotten maybe like a year ago.
Oh, so they're double?
We went back to the same vendor, two vendors, one for the materials, one for the installation. Both prices went up. The vendor, they've sold so many of these, they can't even produce it till like Q2 of next year.
Oh, shit.
So we're now trying to source another vendor, and we have updated construction costs. So we would recommend doing if you wanted to do up to like 40,000. We think it'll be less than that, so the split would be 20 per municipality.
I would be comfortable making a motion that we allocate at least 40,000, 20,000 of the 40.
Yeah.
And so that motion is made.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Pat Antonou, second by Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, next comments from council members. We have our Fall Fest coming up Saturday. So come on out. That should be a great time if the weather's nice.
11 to 3, right?
11 to 3.
11 to 4.
11 to 4.
11
Even
to
better.
4. Rocco and I
great.
will be there.
We'll be
So
there for a little
come say
while.
aye.
Okay, on that note, we have opportunities for residents to address council. First one, Jair Nichols, come on up. Javier, I'm sorry.
Good morning,
Thank you.
Javier Nichols. Come on.
What can we do for you today?
Thank you very much for having me here. Truly appreciate it.
Turn the
Make
button.
sure. Can you guys hear me better now?
There it is.
Great. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So, yes, I come to you today to speak a little bit about what we have been discussing over the last couple of months. So,
Could you say your address where you live?
Javier Nichols. So I live in 7 Fieldstone Road in Levittown, PA, but I own property
Middletown.
in Bloomsdale.
Okay.
I can write the addresses that we currently own. Okay, cool, no problem. So yes, back in May, we sat down, you, me, Randy, and Jamie Ridge, my government affairs director, to discuss putting in delineators on Green Lane to protect the children that's walking to and from school. We definitely have seen an increase in traffic due to obviously Urban Outfitters. They park in front of pretty much the sidewalk area, which it doesn't really block traffic up, but now they're parking heavily on the far left-hand side, which is pushing the students and athletes, especially the athletes, onto the street. And unfortunately, as we know, that road has a heavy traffic going down, especially with the larger trucks. So I just wanted to find out if there is a way that we can either accelerate or finalize getting those delineators put in for the safety of the kids coming in from Truman.
So I had just updated council today and advised them I had not had a chance to reach back out to you. I had reached out to our traffic engineer and our public works director, who are not in favor of the delineators only because of, it doesn't, there's options. But the delineators, as you can see on Route 13, they're there and they're knocked down consistently.
Yes.
So that would be a maintenance issue on the township, that they're not, that it won't solve the issues that we're trying to look at. So what both the traffic engineer and the public works director had suggested that we look at the area. There's already a asphalt area on the, a wider shoulder asphalt area on the side of the shoulder that exists from Mill Creek down to Bloomsdale Garden. If we can talk to, I believe it's the county or the school district that owns that property, and go further into that property, so at least get a walking path without the delineator separators, but at least further off the road. So that is what we're going to be looking at, again, as a temporary measure before we can start looking at maybe possible grants for sidewalks.
Perfect, perfect. And obviously, I would love to be instrumental in helping finding that funding, because I've already presented numerous ways to help with the funding, because obviously it's extremely dark there as well. Has there been any discussion on lighting that? Because kids walk closer to the street because of the traffic, right? Because of the headlights. And unfortunately, that's not. So if you're going further inward, then you're basically pushing them into the wooded area, which is even more dangerous for many reasons. Has there been discussion on that?
Well, we would look at that at the time that we would construct the, prior to constructing that further asphalt area, to see if the spillover, if we put an extra street light or two on existing telephone poles out there, if that spillover would then fall further behind so that it lights up the area that they're walking on, or if we have to look at some other areas or some other things to do for the lighting.
Okay, is there a time frame on that? Because I know when we spoke, it was before the school was out, and now it's back in session. Is there like any kind of preliminary thought on that?
There has not been. There's been a lot of changeover in the township,
I know.
and some things have
but
happened.
you just got an assistant,
Yes.
so that's awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way. I'm glad to
So
hear that.
that'll be something that I will put her on, so that it will say, or I also have Heather, I can assist in delegating out, so that some of the projects that are on my desk move forward.
I could do some of the footwork for you. I know, I'm not saying I want to volunteer more of my time, but I can definitely be here and come in and try to help. I mean, literally, it's extremely dangerous. And I think that if that was, in another area to be addressed a little bit quickly, obviously, we're still working very hard on trying to get the alleyways approved with the township. Well, not the township, the town's folks. Obviously, I've been working very hard to get them to all agree on that actual price point, which I'm working very hard to get everyone on the
So
same page.
just to make a point, there's nothing that is pushed back for any other reason than there's a lot of things going on in the township. So I take exception a little bit to that comment. And the other thing that you had talked about was the traffic, and with the parking, the legal parking, we can work with our police department, and we have contact with Urban Outfitters. And since that first time they had, when we had a lot of issues, we had the no parking put in, the resident parking permit only for all the residents in Bloomsdale. We had reached out to Urban Outfitters. They had adjusted their scheduling to try to ease some of the congestion from different shift schedules. So we can work with them to say that it has not been resolved yet, and try to come up with a solution, and maybe pull in some residents at the table so that they can hear from that. But we can also work with our police department and get, come back here next month with an ordinance, at least for the no parking in front of their property on Green Lane, where the shoulder that they pull off on and they park. We can make that no parking, so nobody can park there, and we can have the police department enforce. We don't need to put no parking on the other side, because that's the roadway. So we can just enforce, if people are parking there, the police can
Well,
come
they're
and
not
say.
parking, they're just waiting
Well,
for
waiting,
picking
but
up.
we
Yeah, they're
can,
just waiting to pick
tell
up.
them that that is not permissible. There's no
Perfect.
standing, stopping, waiting of that. So at least that can alleviate some congestion in the very beginning while we work towards our final goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Wes, come on up. Wes, it's always good to see you. Thank you for your legal advice earlier tonight. Appreciate
Now,
it.
we
Yes.
went through this whole meeting,
Yes.
not hear anybody say anything about Officer Leonhauser.
Oh, that's a good point. Thank you. Yep, we'll do
Okay.
that next meeting.
Well, I mean, usually we wait for the police department to present them with accommodations, and then they're brought in front of the
Oh, yeah, but
council
it
meeting.
happened now, and people should know about it now. And another thing I didn't see tonight was I didn't see Chet come back in here.
We're trying.
You're trying to contact him?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, you ready for me now? JFK Park. You had pilings put in there, like bumpers put in there, so they couldn't get motorized vehicles into the park. So I want to know who removed them at the end of Westmont Avenue and took a grinder and sheared off the studs where they were bolted into. And with that, why were they removed?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because it says no authorized, no motorized vehicles allowed. That's what it says.
You think possibly kids did it?
Yeah, think it was vandalism?
Well, one disappeared.
We
and
do
that was-
have a lot of vandalism in that park, so it could be possible, but we'll reach out to our Park and Recs department and find out what's going on, as well as Public Works.
One was gone for like 3 or 4 months. Now all of a sudden I see they're both gone and they're grinded off.
Is it metal?
Yeah, they were about maybe 6 or 8 inches around and probably about 2.5 foot high.
Metal bollards?
Yeah.
That's a scrapper.
Now, the other thing is, everybody's always complaining about the conditions of our streets, right? So my question is, why do I see school buses coming down past my house every day at around 7:30 in the morning when there are no bus stops down that end? The bus stop is up Leadham Avenue, a block away, towards Route 413. So, what? Well, I'm asking you, and the reason. No, you don't understand the reason why. The reason why is it's township money that has to fix them streets. And it's school district, school buses that are coming in and being where they're not supposed to be, and they're the ones that are tearing up that street. And it ain't a state street, it's a township street. So why should we be putting out township taxpayer money, right? When the school district's already getting at least 3 times the amount the township's getting in tax money. So, that's another thing to look into. Now, the next thing I got, I know people ain't gonna like, because township residents where I live at are putting stuff on Facebook. They don't like what I come up here and say. And I figured if they didn't like it, why don't they come to the township meeting like this and open up their mouth and say something? But the main guy is putting stuff on Facebook. I think he's a confidential informant for the township. Because he's being treated the same way as Atkins was 30 years ago. Leave him alone. Don't do nothing to him. Seems every time something's put in about his property or about things that he's doing, nothing gets done about it. So is it a thing of leave my guy alone? Because that's what they did with Atkins 30 years ago. He murdered a girl, and they said, leave him alone. And you know that that's absolutely, positively, 100% correct, because it came up. And there was a TV show about it, Justice for Joy. So I don't know if any of you seen it, but, so that's good. I'm done for tonight.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you, Wes, for coming in.
Quit paying him $1,700 a month to be
thank
a
you.
CI.
You're the best. Thank you. Can't wait to see you next month. Thank you for coming in. And on that note, we need a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. Have a good weekend. Hope to see you Saturday at our Fun Fest. Thank you.
It's a fall fest.